Well, Ricardo, it's very nice to meet you here at the KPMG Latin American Conference in Mexico City.
And we are more than happy to receive everyone and all our clients to this summit, which is a fantastic place to do relationship and talk about tomorrow, today.
And that's the theme of the session, and it has been fantastic so far. And I know one of the things that you and many others have been talking about is nearshoring today and tomorrow. Tell me a bit more.
Yeah, nearshoring or reallocation of operation, friendshoring. We've seen so many names lately, but it is a phenomenon, and it is a phenomenon in Mexico. And if we could talk about what is the origin of that, is really we've seen geopolitical risk. We've seen supply chains disruptions, and it could be because of social events, it could be because hurricanes, it could be because earthquakes, and many factors where companies are taking decisions to move their operation and diversify their supply chains. I mean, stop relying in only one supply chain, only one supplier, only one geographic, only one place to do it. And that's what we've seen lately, an increase in investment, both domestic and foreign investment in Mexico, in the central states and the northern states of Mexico, that actually has been capturing most of the nearshoring investment in the country.
And I can imagine that makes sense with everything we saw with COVID and then with geopolitical stuff. But you started to talk about how you're seeing a lot more investment into Mexico. Why Mexico in particular, do you think?
Well, I like to say that we are nice people, but it goes more than that. I'm going to tell you that, the last year we followed the net investment in Mexico has gone over 40%, and that gives us a very good hint. But I'm going to tell you some facts about Mexico and the economy of Mexico. So Mexico has invested in a number of years in infrastructure, trains, highways, ways to deliver things within the country. But another important thing is that Mexico is one of the most open economies in the region. So we not only have the Mexico, US, and Canada free trade agreement, and we have over 14 commercial agreements signed that covers more than 60 countries in the world. So with the European Union, we have free trade agreements. With most of the Asia Pacific countries, we have free trade agreements. With most of Latin America's countries, we have free trade agreements. So that helps a lot when people or investors come here, because they'll find something open, an open economy. The second one is that Mexico now has more than a 50-year tradition of highly valued labor in Mexico. So there is an adequate balance between quality of those labor and an adequate pricing of those labor. And that is something that is following a lot. And also, needless to say, the close geographic and one of the largest borders in the world is the US-Mexico border. And it's the border that has the most trading in the world. And that's something, if you want to get to the US, to the US market, Mexico is geographically correct to get that fast and do it. And I can tell you that historically, over these 50 years, I was telling industries that have put their manufacturing facilities in here are automotive, aerospace, food industry, mining industry, energy.
Gosh, a whole range.
So it's a whole range, and that makes that many people don't know this, but Mexico is the 6th country with more engineers in the world. So that makes sense that you have really qualified labor and with an adequate price. So people, investors are actually sitting back in Mexico to be as a place to invest. And we've seen that in the integration in foreign investment and domestic investment.
And so that makes total sense then. You're painting a picture of an open investment architecture, free trade agreements or equivalents with a lot of different countries, a highly qualified labor pool, and a commitment to investing in infrastructure. So it makes a lot of sense. But I can imagine, because Mexico is just such a big country, it must still be hard for people to figure out where exactly do they go and what do they do. What are we doing to help people negotiate that process?
That is a great question. And I'm going to tell you, I mean, we've seen some of that foreign investment wake up. Asia has been a large and open interest to come in Mexico, specifically China. I mean, with all the economic war between the US and China, they're thinking of moving in Mexico. So what we've been working, like we're going to use as an example the Chinese investor, but we're also having here our Japanese practice in Mexico, our Korean practice in Mexico, and our German practice in Mexico. In several countries that's KPMG. But what we do a lot with them first is helping them to set up the legally, when I mean setting up legally, opening a corporation in Mexico, having their first tax incentive, having their first tax registration. And that will be like probably the second thing we do, because the first thing we help them a lot is site location.
Mm-hmm.
So where they're going to do their soft landing. So it's on a central stage. Is it going to be in another state? Places where the water is not as there's not stress, where they'll get access to that labor. What type of labor they are looking for, and where we can find in Mexico. So site location and then opening those stores legally in Mexico are the first steps. Then we go to supply chain, how they're going to do that, and not only the logistics, but also with the foreign trade. So dealing with customs, what are going to be the taxes, and ESG. They ask us a lot. If they're going to open operations in Mexico, they want to do it responsibly. So not hurting the media, doing it in a social way, making sure that when they go to labor, they do it responsibly. And those are the main topics that they are bringing us. And I mean, obviously, when they go to people and change, that's another thing they ask us about. So if I'm going to acquire a company, we do the M&A, but then the people and change. And those are the main topics that we are working with our clients to handle.
Well, those are big topics, but that's like an end-to-end solution. Looks like we've got the whole beachfront covered.
And we do it easy for them, one-stop shop.
Yep.
One contact, which is done through those corridors, and we make sure that they have the adequate specialist from us.
Nice.
And if we don't have it, from someone in the globe within the KPMG network.
Well, Ricardo, no wonder you're a very popular man here at the Latam conference. I've heard everyone talking about nearshoring, and now I understand why. Thank you for speaking a couple of minutes with me.
On the contrary, thank you very much. I'm looking forward for this summit this week.
Me too. Thank you.